I'd like to call the meeting of the Ethics Board together, June 19th. We have several items on our agenda, including review of disclosure forms, advice of counsel, and then some issues regarding village personnel and other matters that are appropriate to do in executive session. Is there anything that folks would like to bring to the table in the open session?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing we have to do is, Mr. Teekert was right. I reviewed the minutes, and we had somehow failed to appropriately elect the officers of the Board of Ethics at the first meeting of the year, which was in February. I think Mark and I both did it by video conference, and it just slipped through the cracks. So I think it's appropriate in the beginning of the meeting to, I would say, ratify Mark as the chair, elect Mark as the chair, and ratify the fact that he has been the chair since our first meeting in February. And before we do it, I'd like to say that all of us have been under a significant amount of pressure as a result of the work of the Board of Ethics. I think Mark has borne an extraordinary amount of responsibility and has done a really wonderful job. And whether they know it or not, the village is fortunate to have Mark in this role. So, and I want to talk, frankly, after we do this in the open meeting, about some of the things that are being said about the Board of Ethics and our processes, because I think it's important to put those things on the record. But first, I'd like to make a motion that, Bob, is it appropriate to elect him chair effective as of the beginning of?
No. Here's what you do. And before I say that, Cliff, could you let Christy in? She can't qualify as a participant if you're still on the line, Cliff. No, but you don't have to. Here's why. You can't retroactively make him chairman, but he's never ceased to be chairman because a public officer holds over until his successor or her successor.
Mr. Megan wins.
I win.
Qualified.
Okay.
Did Jeff say that?
Yeah.
Jeff had said, it's
That's
kind of like a corporation, right?
That's the answer. So Mark, you cannot escape. You have always been. And
Does unfortunately the same rule apply to the secretary of the Board of Ethics? Or is there a special carve out for that?
It's permanent.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like that might be so.
All right.
So we just confirmed that he remains as chairman.
right, but the issue having been raised, you should probably take a vote on making him chairman for the balance of the year.
Well, then, in that case, I so move.
I second.
I abstain.
Do we have a chairman that calls for the vote?
I abstained. I recused.
You got to call for the, well, someone's got to call for the vote.
Well, Deb, as the ranking officer of that thing, I think you have to call for the vote.
Bigger every time I meet with you guys.
Yeah. You rank, Debbie. You rank.
You rank.
All in favor of the motion made by Mr. Newgard and seconded by Mr. Megan to appoint Mark Ettinger the chair of the Board of Ethics for the remainder of the calendar year 2020, please signify by saying aye.
Could I amend that motion and say that and acknowledge that he has been our chairman since last elected? I don't know how you word that. How do you word that, Bob?
Well, I think the way you said it is fine. Acknowledge that he has been the chairman since he was last elected. I think just the way you said it is fine.
Okay. In that case, aye.
All right. We have to do the same thing for me?
Yes?
Yes.
Is there a note, is there a motion on parallel basis to nominate Debbie Chapin
And
And-
don't feel compelled.
to remain as the secretary of the ethics board for the
So
remainder of the
moved.
calendar year? Is there a second?
I'll second again.
Might as well just
Aye.
vote.
Mr. Chairman, call for a vote.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Congratulations.
I abstain.
Let's move on. You guys, I'm getting a nice screen that says my.
Frozen.
Frozen.
A little bit with my internet. So prior to meetings, minutes that are sent to us, I have a comment on each. Let's take a look at the one on 5/22. My only comment to that is that in the fourth paragraph, second line from the bottom, and sub 2, paren 2, a communication from, I insert the words BOT special counsel.
Okay.
Wait a second, let's see.
Oh, no.
I think it's on behalf of a member of
Okay. Yep.
the Board of Trustees. We're discussing, I believe we're discussing what is now essentially public data on the BOT Special Counsel's email to us regarding Mr. Natchez. Right? So I would insert from BOT Special Counsel to regarding, I guess from BOT, actually, I'm not sure who he is, Bob. Is he BOT Special Counsel? Is he? Whose special counsel is he?
He's representing the Board of Trustees
Okay.
and its
And what?
its members.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so a communication from BOT, a
Special counsel on behalf of a member of the
member
board.
of the Board of Trustees, fine.
Okay, duly noted. Any other comments on the May 22nd minutes?
Are we going to identify the member of the Board of Trustees by name in the minutes? I just wasn't sure whether we should do that or not.
You know, I got in touch with Sally and I found the Village of Mamaroneck meetings YouTube channel. And I watched the ends of the meetings of May 22nd and June 5th to make sure I had everything down right. And in fact, we named, in
Okay.
the motion, we named Mr. Natchez.
So put his name in the public record because that's what we discussed and it was, that's my memory. It doesn't really much matter. I'm happy to leave it as is or add Mr. Natchez. I'm really only
think we
interested in one thing is just the truth.
I think we should add his name because everybody seems to be thinking that we do stuff in secret. So let's be above board about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we
it's just-
would read a communication from the Board of Trustees Special Counsel on behalf of Trustee Natchez.
Right. Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
The May 22nd.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Or
I'll
first?
second.
Okay, who made the first motion? I didn't hear.
Mike.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's move on to the minutes of 6/5. one comment. Fourth paragraph again, next to last line again. Delivery of a public comment by the Board of Ethics to the mayor and BOT.
And I just had one more little edit as well. For the paragraph that begins, the board noted that it, I think we just need to add the word after Gina Von Eif, that, I think we're missing a word like it. Oh no, we need to take out the word it.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, with those changes, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll put these aside. Okay, any other business that
Yeah. Can we talk for a minute about the request for us to appear at the work session on Monday night and the suggestions that, I mean, I looked quickly at the agenda and at least what I saw initially involved some revisions, possible revisions to the ethics code and the annual report of the board. Is my understanding correct or incorrect that we're supposed to attend on Monday night?
I will do this in reverse order. As of this morning, I received communication from the mayor not to come. And let me put this on perspective. Somewhere early in the week, I got wind that we might be being asked to appear on Monday before the Board of Trustees. I attempted to find out what it was about and what the subject was, but was able to do so. And I had previously requested, as all of you know, had written to the mayor and asked to be put on the docket in July to make our annual report, as the code requires. What we've done since 2017, given the limited amount of time we've been able to get before the Board of Trustees, we've kind of done it in segments. We've sent them the annual disclosure report, people who haven't filed. We've separately provided legislative proposals, and in some cases, and frequently have asked for resources for training. We've also as simply asked them to update their 2009 list of officials, employees subject to the disclosure requirements, none of which have we gotten a response to. So I tried to figure out what was going on, and because it was very unusual. It was the first time it's happened to me in 5 years where we're asked to attend and no one describes to us the purpose. I heard some little this and that about some attempts to change the code. But after asking the mayor what this was about and being concerned that it was a further opportunity for us to go before the board, not really, I was also, to tell you the truth, uncomfortable with the Goldstein matter pending, that the discourse on the issues surrounding the code would be done in that context. And having made those points, we are now not we're no longer being asked to come on Monday. I reiterated my request to give our annual report. We gave it last year in July, and parts thereof in July, parts thereof in October, parts thereof in December, in 2018. So I'm going to continue to reiterate a request for us to make a proposal, make our annual report, which will include a reiteration of the training, legislative, and other resource requests made over time of the BOT and the most senior village officials in the position to help us in each case without, substantive response. I hope that cleared things up.
Yeah, so I think it clears up the specific issue of whether or not we should attend the work session on Monday night and what the agenda was. I think there's frankly a larger issue, which is I personally am very concerned about some of the allegations that are being made in public during, particularly during the public comment period, during the mayor's hearing on the Goldstein matter on May 27th, and the written comments that were submitted afterwards. I believe that record was held open until June 9th. There have been some serious allegations about the Board of Ethics and the way in which we work, which in my opinion are unfounded. They were made by people who didn't have knowledge of the facts, in some cases seem to manufacture facts and present them as such. And I think it's important for the Board of Ethics to stay above the fray, but at the same time retain the integrity of the Board of Ethics by correcting those misstatements. I think it does a disservice not only to each of us and to the integrity of the Board of Ethics, but it does a disservice to the Village of Mamaroneck if in fact there's a perception that the interest of the Board of Trustees is adverse to the interest of the Board of Ethics. And that the Board of Ethics, I saw a petition that had been submitted that said we were acting with prosecutorial intent. And I actually wrote to some of the signatories of it who were friends of mine who did not know that I was on the Board of Ethics. And I said, this was a matter that was looked at for many, many months. By a board that is constituted of 4 attorneys, 2 of whom are in active practice, 2 of whom are retired. And the 5th member is a public school administrator, that we were counseled by the village attorney, who is a former appellate judge in New York State, that this was not taken lightly, that we didn't write the ethics code. We were only charged with ensuring that the conduct within the official boards and commissions and employees of the Village of Mamaroneck is conducted in compliance with that ethics code. And I will say that I also said that I've been on a lot of boards and committees, and I think this group is perhaps as professional and thoughtful as anyone I've ever been on. So I frankly am disappointed that we are not having the opportunity on Monday night, because I would like to set the record straight about this particular matter, about the way in which this board conducts itself, about the costs to the village of this matter, because I think, it's not only our personal reputations, but it's the integrity of an ethics board. So I appreciate your letting me get that off my chest.
I'd like to say one thing before others, if others have something to say. I'd really like to caution us all to limit I'd like to limit, as we did in our public response in the public comment period, we did not comment on matters directly related to the Goldstein matter, other than to discuss quickly the process. I think given the matter, as our decision was made, when it was, correct me, November 29th, I think, 2019, the matter is still pending. I think it is best that we make the comments you're talking about in a public setting after that matter is adjudicated, unless we get the feeling it's not going to be adjudicated. So Jeff, or anyone else, Yoram or Michael, anybody want to add to that?
No, I agree with Debbie, and I think we've acted very professionally and with good advice, and I don't think anybody has a cross to bear on this committee. And at the appropriate time, I think you're correct, Mark, we may make some statements, but I think I agree with you that during the Goldstein, until the mayor makes a decision, I don't think we should get in the middle of it.
I agree with that.
And I fully agree with everything Debbie and Jeff said.
You know, I would like to add a couple other things to that. You know, we all know what we've done. We were all reluctant, and we all have toiled through just hundreds and hundreds of disclosure statements that we don't get everything. They trickle in until we still are getting them this week. And it is my feeling that there has been an inappropriate, almost hostile work environment that has been placed around the work we do. And I just will give, and I think the kind of comments that forget what goes on behind the scenes, because I have no idea, no interest. I didn't know most of you or most of the people we've dealt with before this, or we've encountered, I should say. But when you hear comments by public officials that are in the nature of, we have to do something because of the wide-ranging investigations. This was a comment by Ms. Lucas, Trustee Lucas, on June 8th, when the fact of the matter is, this board, the four of you, and all four of you and I have been on the same board, we've done one investigation. One. Not wide-ranging. One. And in the three previous investigations over the last 5 years, all three of those were not initiated by the ethics board. They were initiated by sworn complaints by third parties. And by the way, all three involved men. So both the comment by Ms. Savolt that we've commented on already publicly that we were targeting women, or Ms. Lucas that we have wide-ranging investigations, are just patently false. And, while some claim they've done research on this, that can't be true either, or they collectively researched. And, I think there's more to go through in a very public setting about, when they say wide-ranging investigation. Let me just give you a comment, because I looked at this yesterday I read about 5,000 emails yesterday. Over the last 5 years, there's literally, imagine it's hundreds of annual disclosure filings, hundreds that we have reviewed, either individually, as members of the board, or the board before you're on the board. Hundreds over the 100, maybe, I don't know what the number is. Only one filing by one board member who happened to be male in 1 year required more than routine reminders to achieve compliance. That led to an addition of client names to an otherwise incomplete filing by that member. So there is no wide-ranging investigations. There are no, I should say. There is no targeting. We've had a couple matters where land use board members made comments before other boards, and we have an obscure disclosure provision that we have asked for legislative change to on multiple occasions that I believe these folks were not aware of. And it was ultimately solved with, we were looking for a 3-sentence disclosure. So these types of facts that are stated by the most senior of public officials, I feel create an environment where it's as if, it's not as if we are being targeted and with false facts. So I find it very distressing personally. Does anybody disagree with what I just said?
I totally agree.
I do not disagree at all. In fact, I'm getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mark. And to me, part of the frustration is people are making statements in a situation where not only do they not have sufficient information, we've offered to make any information we have available so they can actually get the correct information without either speculating or worse yet, just speaking with no basis at all. And I do find it very frustrating, both because of the pending Goldstein matter before the mayor, and also the fact there's an Article 78 that we're dealing with, that it does inhibit what we can say. And I do find it frustrating that other officials who are similarly involved in these issues do not seem to have the same recognition that it's not in the village's interests to be making public statements like this in a forum where they can't even be properly aired.
Something just popped in mind. There was a comment, multiple comments actually, both at the June 5th meeting, no, excuse me, June 8th meeting, just the regular BOT session, and in the public comments about the amount of money spent on this matter, which I will make a comment on. We have, the only money we have spent, incremental money, because my understanding, I have no idea how Mr. Spolzy, nor do I want to know how his firm is paid. I have a general sense. But the only incremental dollars I'm aware we spent, other than things like copying and postage, were on the stenographer. We did not seek outside counsel, which we could have. We were mindful of village resources. We attempted to find alternate resolutions. So the idea that this is some kind of activity where we are spending funds, or rogue, as one trustee, is just not the case. So why don't we move on? Does anyone else have anything to add? Bob, do you have anything to add, or would you rather just leave the record as stated?
No, the record's accurate.
Thank you. Okay. Any more public business to deal with, or we can go into an executive session to talk about the disclosure forms and get a wee bit of advice from counsel. Motion to move into executive session?
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sure.
I was just wondering, I was going through my emails and the stuff that I printed out and things like that. I was just wondering, in reference to the June 5th letter to the Board of Trustees concerning board members who have not filed their disclosure, have we received any response to that?
Yes, we do. We have, we do, and that's what we're going to talk about. As everybody knows, we have a statute that requires this annual filing on February 15th. We've reported on this repeatedly, the difficulty of getting compliance. We regularly have the highest level of officials and appointed officials, late or, requiring reminders to file. It sometimes takes us 2 or 3 months to get them to file. There are years where, I would say a significant component of certain boards don't file, and that's what we do. We, this year we had, I think there are 9 on the 8 or 9 on the list we sent to the BOT last week. And I'd only note for the record that all but 1 are men. Time to move on, guys?
Yep.
Motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Without stating the number publicly, does everybody have the number to dial into?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Bob, I'll text it to you.
That's the number? Yeah, number, thanks.
Yeah, I'll text it to you right now.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Debbie or somebody, can you guys text it to him? Because I don't have your code. I have my leader code. You text it to, you guys have Bob's cell?
I
I
don't
can
have
do it.
Bob's.
I can do it.
Is that Christy?
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
do
Hi,
it.
Christy.
Hi.
Hey,
All right,
Okay, good.
Christy.
I'm okay. I'm tired today. Exhausted.
we're glad to have you.
Ready for Friday.
You too have been an amazing resource to this committee.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you have.
Thank you, guys.
And Bob, so you don't feel left out, you were truly an amazing.
You're pretty good too, Bob.
Talk to you in a few, folks. I don't, hey Cliff, do we just do we leave the meeting or do you just shut it on mute?
He just shuts it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'll disable the video and then just mute yourselves.
We should each individually mute ourselves with the mute button in the lower left. And you'll safety mute it too, right, Cliff?
Yep.
Thank you. Cliff, you there? Christy, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, I had it on mute.
There's Mr. Megan, Mr. Newgard.
How's it going, Christy?
I'm okay. I'm exhausted. I am ready for the end of today, I think. How about you guys?
I am ready for 3 minutes from now. I'm going to go try to catch a fluke.
What's a fluke?
It's a
Is
fluke
that a
tonight.
fish?
It's a fish.
Fish.
Fish, yeah. Mike, do you fish?
I do.
Would you,
Not as much as I'd like, but I do.
Would you like to come fluking with me?
Not today. I'm busy today. In fact, I'm so happy that we were uninvited on Monday because I was going to say, I'm sorry, but I have a previous engagement.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
more important to me than the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, I understand. So I think we're live. Are we live now, Cliff?
Yep, you've been live the whole
Okay.
time.
So let's return to the open session of the Board of Ethics, June 19th. It appears, I can't see, can you guys see Debbie?
No.
It appears that Debbie couldn't connect, but we have a quorum, and having completed our disclosure discussions and others in executive session, I would take, and I can't hear, I think Jeff's talking, but I can't hear him. Just say something, Jeff.
His mic is off,
You guys are all.
but I move that we
Um,
adjourn.
Well, we'll do
I'll
this by a
second
raise
that.
of hands. Can you guys hear me? Put a thumbs up. All right, I can't hear you. I don't know what's happened. So I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting of the Board of Ethics. And I'll take a second to that.
Second.
Mike Newgard seconds. And all in favor, raise your hand. Let it show that Mr. Newgard, Mr. Miller, Mr. Megan, and Mr. Ettinger voted to adjourn the meeting. And Joran, would you mind? So I'll let Debbie know what we did here. So she put on the minutes. I'll do that. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. I have a feeling that we will see each other next week, again by video, in this world we live in. Oh, I want I guess that's it. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your family. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope whatever you're saying is nice because I can't hear you. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
Thanks, Cliff.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Cliff.